People tell you to save money like it's the ultimate rule of life. Put it aside. Don't touch it. Guard it like treasure. But what if that advice is quietly destroying you? This story comes from my grandfather, and it explains why he told me something that shocked everyone who heard it. Never save money. At first, it sounds wrong, dangerous even, but by the end of this story, you'll understand why he said it, and why he said it with regret in his eyes. In a small farming village, there lived an old man everyone called lazy. Not because he slept all day, not because he was cruel or careless, but because he never seemed to start. Every morning, he dragged an old chair under the same wide tree. He sat there, staring at the road, talking about plans that never moved past words. One day, I'll open a shop. One day, I'll buy land. One day, I'll raise cows and never work again. People laughed at first. Then they stopped laughing. Eventually, they just shook their heads and walked past him, as if he were already part of the scenery. His wife stopped arguing. She only sighed and said, "Life doesn't run on dreams. Life runs on work." He would lift his shoulders and smile faintly. "Someday, I'll find a way." But someday never came. Years passed, and life didn't get kinder. Work became scarce. Prices crept higher. Rain didn't come when it was needed. Hunger began visiting homes, more often than guests. One night, long after the village went quiet, his grandson stood beside him. The boy was thin, barefoot. His voice was barely louder than the wind. "Grandpa, is there bread?" The grandmother opened the cupboard. It was empty. No flour, no corn, no hope hiding in the corners. The old man stared at the floor. His throat tightened. Dreams couldn't be eaten. Plans didn't warm the stomach. That night, he didn't sleep, and when the sun rose, something inside him broke. The next morning, with shame sitting heavy on his chest, he walked to the fields to ask for work as a day laborer. The work was brutal. The sun burned his skin until it felt like fire. His back bent lower with every hour. His hands cracked, blistered, and bled. Sweat ran into his eyes, blinding him as the earth swallowed his strength. At midday, he whispered to himself, "This feels like a chain." At night, he came home silent. The grandmother served beans and 2 tortillas. Never more. The boy hugged him tightly and asked, "What did they give you today, Grandpa?" He looked at the small pay in his hand. "It's little," he said, "but it's something." And it was, but it never stayed. Food took it, medicine took it, funerals took it. Week after week, the money came and vanished like water spilled on dry ground. The roof still leaked. Hunger still slept in the house. One afternoon at the village store, he overheard men talking loudly. "The secret is saving," one said. "If you save, you're safe." Another agreed. Those words stayed with him. That night, he found a large glass jar and hid it under the bed. Every week, after buying only what was absolutely necessary, he dropped coins inside. Clink. That sound made him smile. It felt like control. It felt like hope. One day, the grandson found the jar. "What's this, Grandpa?" The old man smiled proudly. "Our tomorrow." But saving was harder than working. He didn't buy new shoes, even when the old ones split open. Food portions grew smaller. Plates were never full. They chewed slowly, stretching meals with silence. One night, the grandmother couldn't hold it in anymore. "What good is saving if we're always hungry?" He didn't look up. "Someday," he said quietly, "you'll understand." Months passed. The jar grew heavier. The man felt safer. Or so he thought. One morning, they went to the market. He placed the jar's contents on the table. "I want 3 sacks of corn." The seller counted the money. then shook his head. Prices went up. This buys one sack and half. The old man froze. Money loses value, the seller said simply. On the walk home, the jar felt heavier than ever. That night, he poured the coins on the table and counted them again and again. The number never changed. The boy asked softly, "So, what's the use of saving, Grandpa?" The old man had no answer. Days grew darker. Food was never enough. Strength faded. Sometimes, sitting on the porch, he wondered if there was any way forward at all. One morning, he noticed something. Neighbors passed by carrying eggs, milk, small baskets of food. They didn't look rich, but they didn't look afraid. Then, a memory surfaced. A long-forgotten suggestion. "What if we buy chickens?" the boy had once asked. This time, the old man listened. He took the last of the money and bought a few thin chickens. When he released them into the yard, the boy laughed and chased them. "Now we have an egg factory," he shouted. At first, they found one egg, then two. They ate some, sold some. With that money, they bought another chicken. The old man wrote everything down. Every egg mattered. Soon, the yard filled with noise. Neighbors came to buy eggs. For the first time, work felt different, alive. One afternoon, the old man held an egg in his hand and said to the boy, "This is worth more than a jar of money. It feeds us. It grows. It doesn't lose value." The boy hugged him tightly. "So, you're not lazy anymore?" The old man smiled, eyes wet. "No, my child. I finally learned." The jar stayed forgotten under the bed. And when people talked about saving money, the old man pointed to the chickens and said, "Saving money is like holding water in your hands. It always slips away. Make it work, even if you start small." That was the greatest truth of his life. Never save money. Make it grow.